I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Kearney Park and Tree Board for Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. Can everyone stand to say the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eric, have you taken roll?
I have taken roll. There are 2 members present, Jeff and Lisa. We have nine members present, and we do have a quorum.
Okay. I need approval for the agenda. Does anyone, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the October 15th meeting? And I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Park updates, park maintenance.
Just want to let you know we are continuing to trim trees along the trail in Jesse James Park and also in McPorter Park. Ray has completed checking the Christmas decorations that go at Jesse James Park, so those are will be installed hopefully this week or the start of next week. And also he'll be checking the lights and getting the bucket truck for the snowflakes along Washington Street to prepare for the Kearney's Magical Night. So that's what we have going on in park maintenance right now.
Jesse James Park Playground Slides Repair.
Yes, earlier this year, doing inspections, Ray informed us when he does his maintenance inspections that some of the the first slide entries were cracking at the top. It was not a serious infraction, but we had some money in our capital outlay, and Ryan and I discussed this and said, well, we've got some money, let's go ahead and get these 2 features taken care of. Last year we did some other repairs that had some major deficiencies, but we got those taken care of, and that was a $5,000 expense, and that did include the installation. So got the same equipment from the Miracle Playground equipment, and that playground equipment was purchased in 2007. So it's been great playground equipment, and so everything pretty much is golden out there right now. So except for one feature, and we put that in. I'll tell you a little bit about that here in a bit.
All right, budget preparation.
Yes, Ryan and I had to have our preliminary budget request in to Sheila last Friday, but we got it in on Thursday.
Really, we had it done Monday.
Yeah.
We just went over it a couple more times.
Right.
Not to toot our own horn, but we were first.
And then that also includes our projected expenses at the end of the year, which is really hard to project what we think we will have spent at the end of the year. So we use our 6 months and calculate some different things into that, but that's taken care of. And then Ryan and I will meet with Mayor and Sheila on November 25th. Our time is at 11 o'clock, where we explain our budget requests and get asked questions of why and all that good stuff. So Ryan and I will be having our meeting to go over our budget in anticipation of different questions that will be asked of us on different things that we requested. And a bunch of our budget is based on the board's priorities and things of that nature, that we had a Board of Aldermen and department head priority goal setting session earlier this year. and a bunch of those things, in addition to our regular maintenance things and capital outlay that we did request. One of the things that is in our capital outlay, it's the big item I was telling you about, is a new web climber. That double web climber that's out there, the actual webbing itself is at its end of life. And like I said, that was a 2007 installation and it's lasted this long. We're happy we got that, but we need to have that replaced. We got a preliminary estimate from them, $45,000 for that, and we figured about a $5,000 install, so $5,000 to $7,000 install. So that's a $52,000 budget request just right there. So hopefully it needs to, and we'll press hard to get that pushed through. So.
How does that compare to the initial installation cost in '07?
You know, I can't tell you that off the top of my head, Nick, but we did that all at one time.
Yeah, everything was done.
The whole package at one time. And so I know that was really expensive, but in today's world, probably not very expensive compared to what just one piece of that equipment is, so.
Well, yeah, and the install on those, the initial install where they had to dig down.
Yeah.
Put, you know, a ton of concrete in that giant hole.
You would not believe the concrete, that and the big mega tower have the most concrete. And if a tornado comes through and it tears that up, they'll have to dig everything out because it's set in so much concrete. So knock on wood, we haven't had that problem.
And is that replacing the entire structure or just the webbing?
Just the webbing. The posts and everything are,
Set in the concrete? and
yep,
did
Yeah,
the-
they're all
perfectly
good.
fine. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I have on that.
Second quarter metrics report.
Yeah, included in your packet of information, I think at last month's meeting, because we didn't meet that 1 month, we discussed the first quarter. We just gave our second quarter all-employee meeting, and we discussed our second quarter metrics. Just some things, some of the stuff's stayed the same, but I can tell you our one part-time employee, he gets 1,000 hours. His name is Jeffrey Anderson. We've expended about 850 and a half hours of time for him, which is great because we've got him. Jeff will then come back in late February and March and be able to finish up those extra hours for us prior to the new fiscal year starting. So that will give us a jump start on
That'll be a huge help.
huge help of our mowing, our spraying, starting the field preparations and things like that for our spring baseball, softball, t-ball season. And in February and March, it's nuts around here. And that will help Ryan and I out immensely, having him out there in addition to Ray. Our 3 seasonal staff, we divided those 3 individuals. They were allotted a total of 1,000 hours, and they are now back at school. We have one that I think he's a senior this year, but the other 2 are, one's at Missouri and the other one he's finished his ROTC and things of that nature, but they expended 818 and a half hours. And we might have a few hours come springtime for our high school person, but he plays spring baseball, so we don't know how much, but if not, we will be under the 1,000 hours that we were allotted, which is good for our budget. And we expended 8.5 hours of overtime total in a 3-month period, which is fantastic. So we still, in the second quarter, mowing and weed eating, and that our second quarter is July, August, and September, because our fiscal year begins in April. So this is July, August, and September. We had 385 hours of mowing and things of that nature. The trash bags, if you remember, was like 800 and some. It's still amazing. It's 633 bags and barrels of trash that were collected. We trimmed trees, 68 of them, and we removed some, but those are in this third quarter fiscal year. But so we've trimmed 68 trees, did 5 inspections on the playground, and I'll let Ryan tell you about the playground here in a second of what we did with Lions Park to get that totally complete. And knock on wood, we didn't have any vandalism incidents in our second quarter, which is fantastic. So right now, in the second quarter, that is a 50% budget. We stand at 65.4. You might think that's alarming. It still is to me, but parks are different than a lot of the other departments because we have a lot of expenses from April through September, park maintenance, mowing, all of our baseball, softball, t-ball expenses, referees, umpires, t-shirts. Anything else I might be missing, Ryan, on stuff like?
No, I mean, I'd be as bold to say 70 to 75% of our expenses are in spring and summer. Obviously, it slows down quite a bit in the fall and winter, the late fall and winter.
So that's where we stood at our 50% right now. Participants, as you can see, flag football, we had 141 signups, volleyball 47, soccer 186, pickleball total, that's because they run 2 different sessions. 282 were in the fall, but that overlapped into our second quarter, but we had a total of 564. And then our senior trips, we've had 34 participants in that. Even though we knew that we were getting the grant award, it was still with the financial paperwork and things of that the mayor had to sign saying we will receive this money, and the board had to approve that. Technically, it was awarded in the second quarter of $504,000, and that's for the Hall Park project. Our shelters still stayed fairly busy. We shut down Lions Park, Splash Park at the Labor Day weekend, but we had 31 shelter reservations there. Jesse James Park, we had 8, and our pickleball court, pickleball reservations were 25. We had 2 amphitheater concerts, attendees of 1,014. Our fireworks event was 4,100, and we can verify this through our Placer AI that Ryan takes care of for us. And then we had 51 participants in our fundraiser pickleball tournament. So it was a good second quarter. Like Ryan said, a bunch of our expenses, the majority of them are in our first 2 quarters. We'll still have some expenses naturally because we had some maintenance issues in our third quarter that are still ongoing, but that will slow down tremendously. Any questions on that?
You were gonna have Ryan tell us about the playground inspection.
Yeah, Ryan, when we were doing the playground inspections with Ray, Ryan was in contact with them, and then I had to do the more forceful email to him. But Ryan got to play good cop, I got to play bad cop, and I'll let him tell you about the repairs at Lions Park.
Yeah, so we did talk about this last month. As you guys know, we had to shut down the tubes and the slides because of an entanglement issue. that Ray found when he was doing his inspections. Essentially, the bracket was too far out from the actual tube itself, created a choke point. Ultimately, we were able to get Playcraft to fabricate and design and fabricate new saddles that just kind of suck in a little bit to the slide structure and the tube structure. And we got them to come out and install them, and it took them like 2 hours, 3 hours max. They were gone by like 2 o'clock, and they didn't show up till 11:30. So it was a pretty quick deal, and we're happy with it. Everything seems to be going well.
And now you can tell them about the splash park now too.
Yeah, so Splash Park, we've been having issues with the bearings on the big bucket, as you guys know. Vortex, the manufacturer, finally decided we're gonna go through and replace all of these buckets with sealed bearings. And so we actually just did that last Friday, free of charge to us. The only thing, we had to rent a scissor lift, but the guys drove up from Oklahoma and installed it, and they were in and out in an hour. This should solve our problem.
Good.
Pretty excited about that.
Because I think after we had the second set, it was like 3 months later, or not even 3 months.
Well, this one is our third.
Yeah.
Technically, the weatherproof sealed bearings they just put on are our fourth set of bearings.
Yes.
They had just put new ones on in late July, and they were already cracking. We're like, guys, come on, are we the only people, only clients of yours that pay attention to this, or what's the story? But they went radio silent for like a week, and then they're like, all right, we're gonna do this. Fantastic. And then Eric ran into them at a national convention too and put some heat on them.
Yeah, and when I was talking with them, they said, I was talking with one of the reps down there and said, we're hearing this from more than just you, it's happening all across. And I said, we're on our third set right now. I said, something's not right with those bearings. And I said, we had to pay for that. And so they took my information down, and I told Ryan when I got back, and like a week later, Ryan got the email saying that the bearings are going to be replaced, which is fantastic. So they're sticking behind the product, and they realize it's just not us. There's a defect in those bearings. So
But they're just using industrial off the shelf, like they're heavy duty bearings. They're just not meant for that application. So and they're constantly being wet. So.
Is that it with your metrics report then?
yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Park reservation fee schedule.
Every year, we're asking you to, based on our recommendations, to approve our fee schedule as we feel, based on our budget and things that we have to prepare for the city for our fiscal years. If you notice on the back page, some of these were changed from last year, but we'll just go down. There's only a couple of, about 4 of them that we would like to have changed. The rodeo demo derby one-day event, and that's still, they will come before you for board approval, and then it goes to the Board of Aldermen for final approval, because we have to do a park reservation agreement on that. We would like to raise that from $400 to $500, and the main reason is the lights. In our budget preparation, we are over light bill like we can't even imagine. And the reason is they're not the LED lights, they're the old type that use tons and tons of electricity. And help us pay with the lights for what they're being used and all the electricity that they use out there for that event, whether it's the demo derby, when they have bring their vendors in, because they don't pay for any of the electricity. We take care of the electricity. Also would be the rodeo and demo derby 2-day event, and we're just raising that, if they're gonna do it for 2 days, a $50 increase on that. And basically that's just for the lights, the expense of the lights. And then at Mac Porter Park on the ball fields, we're gonna charge this to all teams, $30. It says 35 there. We need that as 30 on the top one. And then ball field lights, we will charge all teams, not just the out-of-town teams, but if someone wants to reserve a field, they will pay for the lights as well, because like, just as I explained earlier, those lights are taking a lot.
Yeah, so we actually have a separate line item for recreation electricity, and we are absolutely getting killed from what we budgeted on that. Like,
Yeah.
it's real bad, real far over.
Real far over.
And the biggest reason for that is local teams, not affiliated with Parks and Rec, just teams with Kearney kids on them are using the fields for practice. Previously, we haven't charged them for that, but we're just getting absolutely killed on electricity.
And we've checked around, all the organizations around, where they have lights,
Yeah.
they pay for the lights.
We're the only one that still doesn't charge local teams.
Right.
So we're proposing that we change that.
They're not park and rec teams, they're the travel teams.
Yeah.
Right.
So we know they're collecting fees for them to go play in other leagues and or tournaments, so they will have the money to do that. If they're reserving a field, they have the money to do that. The other pickleball complex was last year, we changed that to 20, and I don't know why I didn't do that. We're not raising any other fees on there, and the cabanas was raised to 65 last year, and we're keeping it the same as this year, even though it says 50, that was from last year. So it's just those 4 items, the rodeo 1 and 2 day event, and the ball fields, rentals, and the ball field lights.
Do we have LED lights at the pickleball?
Absolutely.
court? Is it just outrageous to switch over the rodeo and demo derby lights from what they are to LED lights?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
And here's the thing, if we would do that, it would be on them. We don't use any of those lights. If there's not an event out there, those lights are off.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of the park that we don't actually use. So, you know, we don't necessarily feel like we should be spending a lot of our capital on that when we literally don't use it.
Right. We just want to cover the cost of the lights being turned on, and we're gonna have to do a better job of going out there and telling them at the end of the event at night, turn the lights off. If they don't, we'll go out there the next morning when we're going to put up our shelter reservation signs and things of that nature. Lights are still on from all night long. So that happens, you know, this will help cover it, but we'll make sure they say, you gotta get the lights off at the conclusion of your event.
Maybe put that within the contract. If they don't, they get assessed a fee. Maybe put that within the contract.
We are going to put that in the contract as well. That way it's not another, just say the demo derby gets done at midnight.
Yeah.
You know, by the time everybody's out and they're cleaning up and done for the event, by 7 o'clock, we're out there, that's 7 hours of electricity.
Right.
So we will include that in our park reservation
Yeah,
agreement as well.
that's a good idea.
Can we put a timer on it that like at 2 a.m. it goes off? No?
Not on those old lights, you
Oh,
can't.
no.
The ones at the pickleball court
Yeah,
do have a timer, and say, for example, like tonight, not raining, but if we go home and I drive by there, or Ryan drives by there, and it's raining and no one's there, we have it on our phone, we can kill those lights like that as well, but out there,
I usually look and see if Ally's there.
Yeah.
Kind of became, I don't know what.
What is the $2,000 additional cost for the amphitheater?
that is,
The soundboard?
So that's gonna be, city staff fee, fee for, sound technicians.
Yep.
2 sound technicians.
and 2 sound technicians and us for, and that's for.
They gotta pay the city for our time.
Right.
That's if they use the board.
That's if they use the amphitheater.
Oh,
They're not using a different sound system with the amphitheater.
okay. So really, the amphitheater rental is $3,200.
Well, the rental fee is $1,200. And then there's additional fees on the contract. We can give you a contract if you want to see it. That's no problem.
But that pays for us to be out there, that way they're not jacking with our equipment, and, or anything of that nature, it's to
And
me.
that really came in handy on an event we did this summer. I'm very glad we were there both days for that event, because there was a lot of stuff that we had the police pretty heavily.
That equipment out there is top notch, it's all digital, it's expensive equipment. We put a new cone in, one of the speakers, $500 just for a cone, in the smallest speaker. So, it's expensive and we need to maintain our equipment.
So do you need a motion from us to approve this new schedule?
I do.
Okay. Does anyone have any more questions about the proposed schedule? Do I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone
Who made the
opposed?
motion, I'm sorry? Ally, second by Jennifer.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries, and the fee schedule is approved.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That's a big help to us.
All right, youth sports.
Rhino.
So, our youth sport in the winter is basketball. We are in the last week of signups right now. We're in what we call late signups right now. We're almost full. I suspect we'll be full by the end of the week. And we'll be rolling first week in December with practices. Games will start after winter break. So we're looking forward to another great year of basketball.
All right, board comments?
They kind of alluded to it, but the Magical Nights Parade is December 14th. It's coming up quick. Eric, Brian, did you want to talk about the resolution that we approved last night for the
Go ahead.
soccer camps?
Go ahead.
So last night, they presented to the board a resolution to have, what was the name of the company?
Challenger Sports.
Challenger Sports, that's it. So Challenger Sports is going to use Jesse James Park for soccer camps. If you've not heard of Challenger Sports, they're all over the metro. So for Kearney to have a company like that use our parks, that's kudos to these two.
So I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I've actually, over the last probably 6 months, built up a pretty good relationship with those guys. They're a bunch of British guys that, you know, they do soccer. That's their big thing. And they actually, in the wintertime, right now, over in Britain and in Brazil, they're hiring and training instructors. And so they'll bring them over to the United States and basically from spring to the very end of summer, every week they're in a new place doing the camp. So it's really cool, and we're getting really, really good instructors. The city will make a nominal fee on top of, what we guarantee to Challenger per child. So it's a win-win for everybody. We get to make a little bit of revenue and offer something basically at no cost to the city, so, or its residents. Other than, participants are obviously gonna have to pay a fee, but there's no infrastructure set up. I mean, it's a new program, and we expect a couple hundred kids probably in it. So it'll be a good deal.
So when will they happen?
Mid-July.
I think it's the 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
It is in the morning.
I know.
It's not an all-day thing.
Does this interfere with our soccer
No.
team schedule at all?
Nope.
Good.
That's why we're doing it there. We're right in between spring and fall. So,
And baseball
honestly,
and softball is done. So people that play fall soccer can still participate in the camp as well, so.
and then a little sneak preview in January, we'll be telling you guys about some new exciting programs that we're hopefully going to be offering as soon as we can get it passed through our budget. So, a little sneak preview for you. Very exciting.
Any other comments, questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting to Tuesday, December 17th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Meeting is adjourned.
Now, I